Namaskar and welcome to Sunset Television. I am Vishal Dahiya and you're watching our show Perspective, where we bring you details of all key national and international issues. Today we're going to talk about India-Russia bilateral relationship and specifically the India-Russia summit. Now, India and Russia share a long-standing and time-tested partnership, and further development of this relationship has been a key pillar of India's foreign policy. Since the signing of a declaration on the India-Russia strategic partnership in October 2000, bilateral ties have acquired a qualitatively new character with enhanced levels of cooperation in almost all areas, including political, security, defense, trade and economy, science and technology, and culture as well. Now, the annual summit meeting between Prime Minister of India and the President of the Russian Federation is the highest institutionalized dialogue mechanism in the strategic partnership between India and Russia. The 21st annual summit between the two leaders took place on Monday in New Delhi during President Putin's visit to India. Both leaders reviewed various aspects of bilateral relations and discussed ways to further strengthen the all-encompassing partnership and defense. And foreign ministers of both the countries also held the first ever 2+2 dialogue between both nations, and both of them also discussed several issues of common concern. We will analyze the key takeaways from this summit meeting and the 2+2 meeting. And for more on this, we're joined by a distinguished panel of experts. Let me first introduce them to you, beginning with former Ambassador Vishnu Prakash, who is joining us. We also have with us Pramit Pal Singh, Foreign Affairs Editor of Hindustan Times, and Dr. Shriram Chaulia, a Foreign Affairs expert, is also joining us. Welcome, all of you gentlemen, to Sunset Television. Pramit, let me first come to you, and let's start by looking at the key highlights. You know, there have been 28 agreements which have been signed. Of course, the most important amongst them is the military cooperation for the next 10 years, then focus on trade and investment. Afghanistan was obviously discussed, and so was Indo-Pacific. So all in all, quite a lot which was on the table there for both the leaders to, have a look at and decide the future course of action.
Yes, I think we've what you saw here, I think, in this summit was a definite expression of the deep desire for both countries to maintain a relationship. You saw, as you've mentioned, the first 2+2 dialogue, bringing Russia into a small group of countries that India holds such dialogues with. An agreement to have a 10-year defense understanding and relationship, so that may ensure that will continue for quite some time. And just the fact that Vladimir Putin even came here. Vladimir Putin has gone to virtually no countries, not gone overseas since the COVID pandemic has broke out, but he felt it important enough to make at least a small summit meeting in India and to come here physically in the SCO, the BRICS, and so on, for example, and virtually every other country, he has done a virtual summit. So the commitment on both sides is very much clear. And Russia continues to be important. I think, we all know that defense relationship remains absolutely essential. Russia remains our number one defense partner in terms of weapon systems. It provides certain kinds of weapons, notably nuclear submarines, that we can get from no other country in the world. It remains our emergency supplier. Other than Israel, no other country has been prepared to provide us weapons as quickly during a crisis, even against China, a country which Russia has, of course, a very close relationship with. And then there's an energy agreement, an energy understanding. We invest in Russian oil and gas, and they are proving to be, at least for OVL, our state-owned oil and gas company, the most profitable such investments that they have overseas. So in many ways, we continue to be extraordinarily close. However, I also want to highlight, and you saw, Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister, making it clear at a press conference that there are strong strategic differences between the two countries. Russia rejects the concept of the Indo-Pacific. They've had strong differences with us in the run-up to the American withdrawal in Afghanistan, though at least those convergences now are somewhat closing.
Okay.
But nothing that is, in my view, damaging enough to change the basic structure of the relationship.
Okay, and indeed it is a long, trusting partnership between both the nations. We'll come to those, divergent opinions as well, those issues where both nations do not seem to be thinking likewise. But let me first bring in Mr. Prakash here. Mr. Prakash, let's step back a little bit before we come to what exactly is happening today. And for our viewers' sake, if you could make us understand the key pillars of this long-standing partnership between India and Russia. Of course, defense and strategic, relations is one aspect of it.
Well, thank you. And thank you for asking me to look back a little, because that's very pertinent. The fact remains that over 70 years, Russia has made available to us, which other countries had been hesitant to. Whether it is heavy industry, whether it's technology, whether it is defense equipment, space, nuclear energy, what have you. It was 1964, which was a turning point when, under the American pressure, UK did not provide us the naval assets that we had contracted for. And this was on the eve of the 1965 conflict with Pakistan. We turned to Russia. Russia, with alacrity, came to India's assistance. They have never looked back. And they have provided us state-of-the-art technology, weaponry, and I mentioned other areas of cooperation that we have had with Russia or Soviet Union. And that is something that has stood us in very good stead. This relationship has been of mutual benefit. Even today, I think it enhances the leverage of Russia, it enhances the leverage of India. Now, the facts also are that times are changing. The world is at crossroads. Russia is no longer, Russia is no USSR. India is a different country. Globe is our playing field. We have very serious security challenges, especially from China. Now, that is a factor that does come in when we talk of India-Russia relationship. But as Pramit said, there is nothing that we cannot not handle, because this is a relationship which is of strategic importance. In the last 20 years, we have sourced $32 billion worth of defense equipment from Russia. And what is significant is that President Putin, visit signifies that India and Russia want to or are determined to develop and strengthen the strategic partnership. We will do it at our own terms.
Okay.
We want good relations with every country, but not a relationship where somebody has a veto over us. And that is something that we have demonstrated very clearly. I think this visit will go a long way in maintaining and sustaining and building momentum in the two-way relationship.
Okay. Indeed, that is something which was pointed out by the Foreign Secretary in his briefing a short while ago as well on the annual summit, that both nations do have their independent foreign policies. That brings me to Dr. Sriram Chaulia here. Dr. Chaulia, in terms of what was achieved today, the key takeaways from the 21st annual summit, and not only the annual summit, but also the 2+2 dialogue, which is the first ever between both the countries, a military cooperation agreement for the next 10 years. We already have a robust defense and strategic, ties between both the nations. Apart from that, focus on trade and investment could be seen from both the sides, both Russia and India. Both the leaders also did mention in their opening remarks about how a lot needs to be done vis-a-vis the trade part and the investment part.
Yeah, Vishal, always when India-Russia gatherings happen, there is a bit of a lament that the civilian side of the interactions is rather weak, and that defense is the main leg, and that the others are not functioning as well. So bilateral trade has barely crossed $10 billion per annum, which of course is underutilization of the potential. So Prime Minister Modi mentioned that we should set more ambitious targets in his opening remarks, and President Putin also agreed, and he said that it's on the upswing and we can do it. But a lot of it depends on energy, actually. Energy sector is where there is a tremendous potential. Foreign Secretary was talking about coking coal as one area where there could be advance. And of course, Igor Sechin, one of Putin's top aides, and the Rosneft chief has been very, very interested in India, and he wants India to invest in the Arctic oil exploration. And Pramit was mentioning our ONGC Videsh has got blocks and is working there. So I think we will see an uptick in bilateral trade and investment as we move forward. PM wants the steel sector, especially India, to be open for Russian investments, because Russia already has a large steel industry and capabilities and capital in that field. So these are some areas where we could go beyond the defense. Of course, defense is always the crown jewel of the relationship, no doubt about it. And the fact that they are equipping us with everything from automatic guns to frigates to submarines to fighter aircrafts, you name it. I mean, they are giving us whatever we have asked for pretty much. And of course, S-400 is the pinnacle of all this cooperation. So in that sense, it ought to be defense plus. And PM has been talking about the need for COVID vaccine cooperation. That's another area where Sputnik is going to be manufactured by Indian biotech companies. And there is also mutual recognition of vaccines certificates and such things. So there are some emerging areas, you can say. And ultimately, we want it to be more broad-based. But defense is really holding the flag and taking it forward of strategic partnership. So be it, because that pertains to the national security and the geopolitical interests of both countries. And on that score, we are getting an A grade.
Okay, indeed. Pramit, as Dr. Chaulia is pointing out, of course, all of us know and we've seen that defense cooperation is the crown jewel of the bilateral relation between India and Russia, that strategic partnership. But the focus now seemingly is on trade and investment as well. Energy being one, as Dr. Chaulia said, and steel sector is also being mentioned. And obviously, India would want this to be a win-win situation wherein the Make in India program is also utilized by the Russian investors. Pramit, you will have to unmute yourself.
Trade has not taken off, largely because the Indian private sector has not been doesn't find Russia the kind of commercial structure that they're used to. And Russia remains very much, it's better, if you wish, as a government-to-government economic relationship. The private sector in Russia really is not particularly strong, while India, the private sector is in fact expanding. So that's always been a structural problem that there's not very much that can be done about it. But what we have started to see, and this is what the Prime Minister alluded to, is that Russians are beginning to buy companies in India. They're investing as part of a foreign direct investment push, which results, of course, in another kind of economic relationship. So obviously the big purchase was Essar Oil, which was bought by Rosneft. It was a huge, almost a $20 billion investment. As India begins its national monetization policy and begins privatizing more assets in various things such as the steel industry and so on. The idea is that we would like almost every country other than China to invest in that, and bringing in more Russian capital into these areas is something that India would welcome. And I think this is really what we're hoping to see in the coming years.
Okay. Mr. Prakash, apart from trade and investment, and if we come back to the regional issues, the regional security issues, and the geopolitical issues as well, the relationship between India and Russia vis-a-vis all these, global issues, as Pramit was also referring to, be it Indo-Pacific, be it AUKUS, Quad, or, of course, the immediate concern for us is the Afghan theater.
Very much. And if you permit me, I'll spend a minute on the trade and economic ties.
Please go ahead.
I have had the good fortune of serving in Soviet Union and then in Russia. There are three areas in my view which we have worked on, but we can redouble our energy, our efforts. One is gems and jewelry. a Russian Yakutia province is a big producer of high quality diamond roughs. And, there is a very good prospects for us to source on a term basis roughs from Russia, which will be very useful because, as you know, we are the largest importer of diamond roughs, which we then export as gem and jewelry. Second is pharmaceuticals. At one point in time, Indian pharmaceutical products were much sought after in Russia. We have somehow not maintained that niche. I think there we can redouble our efforts to get Indian pharmaceutical products approved, and that could be sent. And lastly, I think it's time to try and have a special economic zone or a Russian industrial park in India, so that they can establish manufacturing facilities, state-of-the-art manufacturing facilities for servicing the domestic market as well as the Russian market.
Okay.
These are some of the areas which can increase the trade and economic ties. Now coming to the regional issues, it was quite encouraging to see a meeting of minds on Afghanistan. And the Prime Minister and President Putin spoke at length about Afghanistan, about a determination or the desire to see that Afghan soil is not used for terror activities. There has been discussion on counter-terrorism. So this is very positive because after the American withdrawal, at one point in time, there seemed to be some daylight between the Russian position and the Indian position. But Russia has realized that Taliban in its present form, and that too led by the Haqqani group, is something that needs to be tamed, needs to be moderated. So the convergence of interests there is quite positive. Overall, we have on the Indo-Pacific issue and Quad, somehow Russia does not seem to be, even if they understand, especially Foreign Minister Lavrov, does not seem to appreciate India's security concerns, and has been basically become a spokesperson. President Lavrov in particular, Foreign Minister Lavrov, is speaking the Chinese language and calling it a conspiracy of the US to suck India in, which is very unfair because even in 2019, when Prime Minister had gone to Vladivostok, Prime Minister had spent quite some time trying to explain our outlook, and we believe in an inclusive Indo-Pacific. We would like Russia to play a role there. Somehow, either it's good cop, bad cop, or whatever. President Putin seems to be a little more objective about it, but somehow Foreign Minister Lavrov has taken a position which, well, if they believe so, so be it. I mean, we will agree, we will disagree.
Indeed.
With no two friends, howsoever close, can you have a perfect agreement.
Indeed.
But the convergences far outweigh the divergences, and that's the strength of the relationship.
Okay. Dr. Chaulia, your views there on the convergences and divergences when we're talking about, these issues. Regional security specifically, as Mr. Vishnu Prakash pointed out, that there seems to be a meeting of minds vis-a-vis Afghanistan, and of course the threat of terror and the issue of drugs as well. But the other two aspects, the Quad, the AUKUS, the Indo-Pacific, there of course we have our own views, and we intend to keep them.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can always agree to disagree on some things because, see, Russia is still a very continental kind of a mindset. Their power and their power projection is towards Eastern Europe and Central Asia. So it doesn't have like a very strong naval outlook towards the Indo-Pacific. They have done some exercises with ASEAN. We are trying to talk to them about the centrality of ASEAN and how we must strengthen ASEAN, which will be necessary to push back the Chinese aggression and bullying. But on the other hand, I think they don't see themselves as playing a very significant role in the near future in the maritime space of the Indo-Pacific as a military player. Now we have the Chennai-Vladivostok maritime corridor, but that's mainly for commercial shipping. And so we have not yet seen a Russian return, so to say, in the Pacific as it was there in the Soviet times.
Okay.
So Russia is struggling with limited finances, and it concentrates more of its strategic energies on countering NATO in Europe and to a lesser extent to maintain its influence in Central Asia vis-a-vis encroaching Chinese shadow there. So I think they are in a way less interested in this whole region, and it's kind of peripheral to their interests. But Central Asia is important. That's where I think we should stress more, because that's where we are now trying to close the gaps. And really, both Rajnath Singh ji, our defense minister, and Sergei Shoigu, both of them, his Russian counterpart at the 2+2 and also in the bilateral, were talking about how Central Asia is, being impacted in a negative way by what has happened with the return of Taliban. So I think it's very important that we jointly formulate some strategies and put up a force in that region in Central Asia, because with Russia's involvement, India can have a presence there. And we already have one base in Tajikistan. We can expand it. So I think these are some of the pragmatic things that already the two national security advisors of Russia and India have been conferring. And the 2+2 dialogue simply makes it. Dr. Jaishankar used a phrase, I want to inform viewers, Vishal, politico-military issues that are interrelated and cross-cutting. This is what is the crux of 2+2, politico-military, meaning you cannot divide now the diplomacy on one side and the defense. We have to bring together in order to get past this big imbroglio that's been created in our extended neighborhood because of Pakistani shenanigans and because of their proxies in the region. So it's very important that the Lashkar-e-Taiba, for example, was mentioned, Jaish-e-Mohammed was mentioned. So these are important, achievements in a small way of this bilateral summit and the two, because it shows Russia and India are on one point. And I'll conclude with President Putin saying our positions are aligned on terrorism. And Putin, is a very, very hard-nosed person when it comes to countering terrorism, be it within Russia or in the extended neighborhood or in the Middle East. So he will not pull back any punches when it comes to fighting jihadist extremism. And this is an area of deep convergence that we have to build upon.
Indeed. And that brings me to last question to you, Pramit. Quick response from you on these two aspects. The regional security issue vis-a-vis both Afghanistan and terrorism as well, both interconnected and of equal importance to both India and Russia.
They are, but keep in mind that the Russians initially, as is mentioned by others, and we differed strongly on the Afghanistan situation. They wanted the United States to leave. We felt that would be a mistake. They, in fact, asked us to shut our base in Tajikistan, and it was only recently reopened again, partly because of Tajik insistence more than anything else, because they felt that our presence there was something that they didn't want. Now, of course, partly because I think they have realized their own error and that the Taliban did not come out to be what they had expected.
Okay.
They have now changed that policy, so we can start to see a lot of convergence on that front.
Okay.
But as I mentioned, on China, this will be a problem. The Russians see China as their strongest economic partner and their number one geopolitical partner. That is something, obviously, we don't share.
Indeed.
And that will continue to be an issue between the two countries.
Indeed. But as Mr. Prakash also pointed out clearly that no two friends can agree on all aspects there. This is a time-tested friendship. We make the best out of it. Thank you so much, Mr. Vishnu Prakash, Pramit Pal Chaudhary, as well as Dr. Shriram Cholia for sharing your views and insight as our experts were pointing out and analyzing this long-standing strategic partnership between India and Russia. Various aspects, of course, defense does continue to be the crown jewel of this relationship, but now it is getting expanded further on the aspects of or the areas of trade, investment, the cultural and tourism relationship as well, and the various other aspects. We'll come back again tomorrow with a different topic. Till then, keep watching Sunset Television. Thank you.